That didn't sound very good, did it? No. Not at all.
Hey everybody, I'm Jason, and welcome back to From Tree to Lumber. Well, anyone that has ever had to split American elm for firewood knows just how difficult this wood can be. Well, today I learned that it's just as tough on the sawmill. We recently felled a really nice standing dead elm tree from the family farm, so I grabbed these two pieces to mill down just to see what this wood looks like inside. In Canada, we lost most of these trees to Dutch Elm Disease way back in the 1960s and 70s when I was a kid. Because of that, I really don't have much experience with it. So let's see what's inside, shall we? It should be interesting.
Okay, here we go. I got my big chunk of elm mounted in here. Just for the record, it's like 29.5 wide, okay? The sawmill will cut 30, they say. 36-inch sawmill, 30-inch wide cut. So it's gonna be close, but I think I've got it centered up. I've got kind of some sort of questionable shims underneath it to bring this end up. It's kind of a funny shape, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be all right. The log itself is only 44 inches long, so it took a little bit of playing around to get it centered on these two bunks and get my clamp set, but I think we're good to go, and I'm expecting some pretty cool stuff. I just hope that this rot doesn't extend too far in. All the other pith areas, they look fine, so it's just this one I'm worried about.
Right away, I can tell there's something different about this wood. I've only had this mill for a few months, but it's been long enough that I've really gotten a feel for how fast it likes to be fed through whatever wood I happen to have on the bunks. And right now, it's telling me that I better take this slow. The thing that makes elm so difficult to work with is that it has a very unique grain structure. Instead of being straight and predictable, the fibers align themselves more like a rope. They spiral around each other as the tree grows, often reversing direction. It makes splitting it with an axe extremely frustrating, but results in a very durable wood for specialty woodworking. It also makes some beautiful slabs. I'm really hoping this crotch will give me some interesting grain patterns to work with. I'm milling these slabs to 3 inches thick. The tree has only been dead for a season, so it's still going to take 2 or 3 more years for it to air dry. And so far I haven't been disappointed. This is probably the nicest piece of slab wood that I've milled yet, and I'm hoping for a few more. Flooding the surface with water gives a much better look at what to expect. So far I'm loving the color, and the grain is exactly what I was hoping for.
Wow, there's a lot going on there, huh? Very pretty wood. Look at all that. Well, here's my dilemma. Although I don't think I have much choice, honestly. I'd like to take about a 3-inch slab, which is pretty much right in the middle of that mess. So I can't see what choice I have. Even if I take a 2-inch, I'm still gonna have the same problem. So all I can really do is hope that that doesn't go in very far, but it's kind of beyond me, right? So I think I'm gonna stick with my original plan. I'll take a 3-inch slab, and that'll leave me with 2 3-inch slabs, plus the one I took earlier, which is actually a very nice piece. So let's take it and hope, because with the live edge going that way, that's going to be, for this piece, that's going to be the surface that I would see, right? You wouldn't mount it upside down. So, well, let's cut it and hope for the best. Yeah.
Well, as it turns out, the spot that I thought would be rotten actually wasn't that bad. It really only went in about 6 inches, leaving lots of beautiful wood to play with. I'm definitely happy with what I got.
Okay, next up is this smaller log. It's just about 6 feet long and it's about 11 real inches in diameter, 10 I guess on the smaller side. It's got some interesting marks in it from old branches, so it might be interesting. It's definitely not the prettiest log I've ever cut up. It's looking pretty rough. A lot of crap on it. I think I'm just going to cant this, make it into a square, and take off 1-inch boards and just see what they look like. Well, quite the difference between the heartwood and the sapwood, I have to say. The heartwood is very pretty though, very nice wood. It's too bad this is such a small log. I think what I'll do is I'm just going to take off 1-inch pieces, and this stuff that's blended, I don't know how good it's going to be, but when I get on the inside I should be able to get some nice like 1x4s, you know, maybe some 1x6s. We'll see how it goes, and we'll dry them up and see what they look like. But you know what? That's not bad looking wood. That didn't sound very good, did it? No. Not at all. I'm not at all sure what just happened there. Maybe I fed it in just a little bit too quick. I don't know. But that was quite the noise. Well, so far so good. Let's see what's kind of disaster's waiting for us over here. I don't know how well you can see that, but this belt, which is sitting nicely on the wheel here, comes up and it spins 180 degrees. It does the same up here. Well, obviously it's got to spin one way. It's come out of the clutch, and then there's a big chunk missing right there. So that's not good. Not good at all. So I'm gonna have to change that. I do have a spare. It's my first belt. Cut a fair bit with this machine, so I guess that's possible. Seems kind of soon to me, but hey, anything's possible. Oh well. Did a job on the blade too, eh? I don't know if you can see that tooth sticking out there. Yeah, there we go. It's not supposed to look like that. And that bend. Once they get bent like that, they're done. They never recover. That's gonna break there. It's too bad. That's a newish blade.
Okay, after watching the footage, I think I have it figured out. I had just rotated the cant and was trying to align the blade with the top edge so that I could lower the blade to take another exact 1-inch board. As I fed it in, I think I must have fed it in a little bit too fast, and one of the teeth caught the edge, which immediately stopped the blade and most likely ripped the V-belt right out of the pulley so violently that it actually tore a chunk of the rubber out of it. The machine certainly gave in before the wood did, and that's amazing.
Well, here's what I ended up getting. At some 1x4s that are, yeah, look all right. Not sure what good this wood is really all that great for. It's not the greatest of grains, knots and everything, but it's all right. This looks like spalting in here. I've never seen that in anything but maple, but I guess it could happen. Same with that piece there. Got that 3x3 that came out of the middle with the pith in it. And then I got some 1x8s. Again, they're kind of mixed with heartwood and sapwood, so I'm not sure just how, valuable they are. But I think it's some more of that. Looks like spalting in there. I'll have to look that up. Anyway, it's good solid wood. I can use it to build shelves, build some boxes or something. It's got some use. It's hardwood, and I'm pretty sure it's very hard, so that's a good thing. And then here in the bucket, I've got a bunch of 3-inch slabs out of that crotch, and they're pretty nice. There's some nice stuff in there, so we'll dry those up, see what they look like, and hopefully I can use those for something creative. All right, thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it very much. Kind of interesting. We went through the broken belt in the sawmill and changed the blade. Beautiful day, birds are singing. Sawmill shed, progress is coming on that, folks, I promise. All right, take care.